In this video, we're going to show you how to test a vacuum-controlled fuel pressure regulator. Let's get to it. A fuel pressure regulator maintains the correct fuel pressure in the fuel system so the injectors deliver the proper amount of fuel under all engine conditions. It's located on the fuel rail to the side of your engine and looks like this, sort of a small canister mounted on your fuel rail, with a rubber vacuum line and a metal fuel return line. The fuel pressure regulator uses engine vacuum coming from that vacuum line to adjust a diaphragm and increase or decrease fuel pressure based on engine load. If your car is suffering from hesitation, loss of power, hard starting, stumbling, black exhaust smoke, or a strong fuel smell, you might have a problem with your fuel pressure regulator. Now, on our car, this actually isn't a fuel pressure regulator, but it's a fuel pressure damper, which dampens the impulses from the fuel pump. But if you have a vacuum-controlled fuel pressure regulator, it will look almost the same, but also have a metal return line, which this damper doesn't have. The first test you can perform is to disconnect the vacuum line and smell it. If it smells like fuel, or you can see any sign of a fuel leak, the fuel pressure regulator needs to be replaced. The next test is to see if it's working correctly, and all you need is an affordable fuel pressure tester like this one. We'll put a link to it in the description under the video, so you can easily find it. It comes with lots of different connectors, so you're sure it will fit. Open the hood and look at your engine. To the side, you'll see the fuel rail, which delivers fuel to the fuel injectors. Somewhere on that rail, there will be a plastic cap covering the Schrader valve, which is a self-sealing one-way valve that you can use to measure fuel pressure. Remove the cap and install the fuel pressure gauge on the Schrader valve. Our set has lots of attachments like this 90-degree connector piece that ensure you can always easily connect the gauge even if you don't have much room to play with. Then turn your car key to the on position for a couple of seconds and back off again, so the fuel pump primes the fuel line. The fuel gauge should shoot up to about 40 psi, depending on your specific vehicle. If nothing happens, your fuel pump is probably broken or you have a blocked or damaged fuel line. If the pressure rises but not enough, either the fuel pump or the fuel pressure regulator might be failing, or the fuel filter is clogged. Then wait a couple of minutes to see if the fuel pressure drops. If everything is working correctly, the fuel pressure should stay the same. If the fuel pressure drops, you might have a bad fuel pressure regulator, a leaking fuel injector, leaking fuel pump check valve, or a leaking fuel line. The final test is to start the engine. But before you do, make sure everything is clear of the moving belt and pulleys, and keep your hands away from them while testing. With the engine running, keep an eye on the fuel pressure. Ours is about 40 to 45 psi, which is perfect, but make sure you verify what the correct pressure should be for your specific engine. Then slowly increase the RPM of your engine. When doing so, the fuel pressure should stay about the same. If the pressure drops, it means your fuel pump can't build enough fuel pressure or your fuel pressure regulator isn't working correctly. If you have a vacuum-controlled fuel pressure regulator, you can easily test this. When you quickly rev the engine, it should shoot up around 10 psi, and afterwards, it should quickly stabilize again. Our engine does not have a vacuum-controlled pressure regulator, which is why it stays the same. Finally, locate the fuel pressure regulator on the fuel rail and disconnect the vacuum hose. It looks something like this, also with a vacuum line attached to it. However, in our case, it's a damper and not a pressure regulator. This has a membrane that expands and contracts so the impulses from the fuel pump get absorbed. If you do have a vacuum-controlled fuel pressure regulator, unhook the vacuum line and watch what happens. The fuel pressure should jump up around 10 psi if it's working correctly. If nothing changes, the fuel pressure regulator is not functioning correctly. Now you know how to test your fuel pressure regulator. That's all there is to it. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our new videos. We've got a lot of new stuff coming up, so stay tuned.